In today's lesson, we're going to work on drawing a coordinate plane and then also finding the distance of a line or a segment of a polygon. So we're going to start by talking about how to draw a coordinate plane. All right, let's take a look at example 1. It says locate and label the points on the grid above. Well, the first activity asked me to create the grid. So if I needed to create this grid, I would look at the numbers within the coordinates and within the ordered pairs so that I could see how large to make my grid and by what interval do I need to count. So I'm going to look just at the x coordinate. Remember, x comes first. It comes first alphabetically. That's how I understand it. So the x comes first and then the y. So I'm looking at all of the x coordinates and I want to see the greatest number and the least number. This is going to help me to know on the x, the horizontal axis, what am I going to number by. So I see a 3, an 8, that's my largest so far. -3, that's my smallest to the negative side. -2, 0, -1, 10. Okay, so I need to go between -3 and 10. Well, I have to count in equal intervals all the way across, starting from 0 in the middle, going this way and going this way. Let's see, I think we're going to need to go up to 10. So if we go by 10, or by ones to get up to 10, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on this side, and then -1, -2, all the way to -10 on that side. Okay, so my x-axis, I'm going to just kind of make myself a note so I don't forget when I make it. My x-axis is going to be in intervals of 1. Just a little note, it's not a scientific way or mathematical way of writing anything. I'm just making notes for myself so I'll know in a little bit. Okay, now I need to look at the y-axis and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to find the smallest number and the largest number, the farthest distance away from 0. Okay, there's 2, there's a 4, ooh, an 8, ooh, a -9. That's 9 spaces away from 0, so we're going to need to have a 9 spaces. What if we went ahead and went up to 10 like the other one? And so when we go on the vertical line, we just go from 10 to -10. Okay, so we're going to again count by ones. My grid is a 20 by 20. So I have 20 spaces. I already made my grid to save us a little bit of time on our video here. On the grid, it told me in the problem, I didn't print that part, but it told me in the problem that it was a 20 by 20 grid. So I needed to find the origin, the very center point of this grid. I don't want my origin to be over here or up here and off center because it just doesn't look right. Plus I don't have room to plot all the points I need. So I went over 10 spaces and then I counted to make sure there were 10 on this side. I drew my vertical y-axis. It goes on forever in both directions, so that's what my arrows represent. And then I counted down 10. Then I made sure that the bottom was the same and I drew my x-axis. Where the 2 points met, I made my origin, 0. And then I counted by ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't want to write every number, it might get a little crowded. So I just wrote my 5 and my 10. It doesn't mean I counted by 5 and 10. It just means I'm writing those numbers. Each one of these is 1. And I did the same going to the negative side, and then I did the same on the y, positive and negative. Okay, so now I've created my grid, and now we're going to label the points. So we're going to locate and label each of these points. I will cross them off as we go so we don't lose track of where we are. Okay, I'm going to move fairly quickly. There are, I think, 4 examples for this problem, so I don't want this video to go on forever. So I will, for each problem, we're going to figure out our intervals, and then we're going to plot some points. Okay, so I've made all of my grids. I'll just kind of tell you how I found the range and decided what to do, and then we'll plot our points and move on to the next one. Okay, so we're going to find point 3, 2. 3 is our x, 2 is our y. So on the x-axis, we're going to go over positive 3, and maybe you can see both parts here. Positive 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to go y, positive 2. So we're going to go up and down, positive 2, and positive is up, so 1, 2. This is point 3, 2 in parentheses. Sometimes they'll tell you a letter, maybe that's point A, and then you just mark A instead of 3, 2. Okay, 8, 4. So I'm going to come over to 8. Well, here's 10, 9, 8. And we're going to go y, positive 4. So we're at 8 and we're going to go up to 4 right here. And this is 8, 4. Okay, negative 3, because I got 2 and a negative on the x-axis. On the y, I'm going to go up to positive 8. Well, there's 10, 9, 8. So I'm going to go over until they meet. This is negative 3, 8. Okay, I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to kind of just move on to, well, actually, I'm going to do 2 more, and then we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, so I have negative 2 on the x, 1, 2, and I'm going to do negative 9 on the y. So I'm going to keep my finger here. I'm going to go negative 9. I'm going to move this up a little bit. This is negative 10, so this must be negative 9, and we're going to end up right there, because this would come down and meet. So this is negative 2, negative 9. Okay, I'm going to do one more because this one lies on an axis. All right, from the origin, we're going to move 0 left or right. So we're going to stay right there. We're going to move 6 in y's direction, so we're going to go positive 6. So here's 5, this must be 6. Because this origin, or this first number is a 0, that means we're on the y-axis. The point lies on the axis that has a number if there's a 0. So if this was 6, 0, it would lie on the x-axis because you would not leave the y-axis. Okay, that's a little bit tricky, but I just got me confused right there. It's a little bit tricky, but we'll get to that as we move on to our distance. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next example for the sake of time. We might graph the rest of those later in class. Okay, example 2, we're going to draw a coordinate plane again, which I've already done. I'm going to tell you how I found out the intervals. And then we're going to locate and label the following points. Okay, so I'm looking first at my x-axis, and I'm going to do the same thing, kind of give myself a key here. So for the x-axis, the farthest from 0, there's 4, 3, 1, 6, 9. I see that the farthest from 9, I go from negative 4 to 9. I need to go, I think I'm going to go by 10, go up to 10 again. So I'm going to go by 1s, because that 9 tells me I need to go at least to 9. We'll go up to 10, just to be safe. All right, let's look at the y-axis. Ooh, 20. Ooh, that's not going to work with what we had before, so we're going to have to change that. So it's 35, negative 35, 10, and negative 40. So we're going to need to go at least to 40. What if we give it a little cushion and we go to 50? So we'll go negative 50 to 50. Well, we only have 10 from that origin to the end line. So if I was going to go to 50, I think I would need to count by 5s. So I'm going to have my y value, or my y interval, be 5. That means that every line equals 5 spots. Okay, so let's check. Here's how I made it. Again, I counted over to make my axes. My x-axis, I decided to go by 1s. So again, it looks like the same as the other. I went by 5s on my y-axis. So I went 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And sometimes I'm going to need to count to figure out how to do that, because I want to get to 50 at least, so I might have to count by 2s. Nope, that didn't work. Count by 3s, count by 5s. Okay? Very rarely do we go by weird numbers like 4s or 3s, or it happens, but very rarely. Okay. We will talk more about it in class, so don't be worried if we're going too fast here. I just don't want my video to last forever. Okay, so let's plot a couple points on here. The first one is negative 4, 20. Okay, so we're going to go over to the negative on the x, so here's negative 4, and then positive 20. So we're going to go up to 20. Well, here's 25. Remember, it goes by 5, so I'm going to go up from the bottom. 5, 10, 15, 20. And I might have to do that each time because it's a little bit trickier, seeing as they don't go by 1s. Okay, so this was negative 4, 20. Okay, the next one, I think you can see on the video there, is negative 3, 35. So I'm going to go over to negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go positive 35. So here's 25, 30, 35. So negative 3, 35. Let's do one more. Okay, I'm going to go positive 1. I hope you can still see that. I'm sorry. It's hard to squish them both on here. Okay, I'm going to go positive 1. So 1 to the positive side. And negative 35. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to have to move this out of the way. Down 35. If I'm going by 5s, oh golly, okay. I'm going to have to count from here. Negative 25, 30, 35, and it's over 1 here. So this is 1, negative 35. Okay, we'll go ahead and stop there just for the sake of time so we can move on to other examples. Okay, on the third graph, or the coordinate plane, it asked me to do something different. So you can notice that each title here is asking us for different things. So this was increased numbers, like we count by 5s instead of 1s. This is going to be decreased. So let's take a look at it. In this one, we have decimals. So we have a 0.1, we have a 1/10 here, 5/10, 7/10 to the negative, negative 7/10, and 8/10. Let's go by tenths, and I think we can go all the way up to 1 that way. Like 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, all the way up to 1, which would be 10/10. Okay, and then on the y, so that would be x. Oops. Okay, the second one is kind of the exact same idea there. So the x is going to go by tenths, and the y be 4, 7, negative 5, 3, 1. What if we just go ahead with the 1? Intervals of 1, just like we had on the first one. Okay, let's take a look. Here's the one I came up with. Again, I started the same way. The y is going by 1s. So I have, of course, marked my 5 and my 10. And then the x-axis is going by tenths. So this is 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 1. And I did the same going to the negative side. Okay, so it looks very similar, except these are tenths and these are whole numbers. Okay, so just a second here. Okay, so the next one is not the same. That was my fourth example. Okay, so the first one is 0.1 on the x. See if I can, I'm going to slide him under so we can see him. Okay, there we go. 0.1 on the x, positive, so that's here, and 4 on the y. So this is 0.14. Okay, it's a little bit trickier when you get those decimals. I'm going to skip over them. We're going to do this one right here, which is a good practice one. Okay, we have a negative 0.7, so here's 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, and up or down on the y, negative 5. So we're going to go down. Oop, there, it's marked for me. Very good. So this is negative 0.7, negative 5. Don't forget, you always have to have those parentheses in there. Okay, let's go on to the next one. We kind of get the idea here. We'll go ahead and graph some more later in class. Okay, the next one says to draw and label the plane and then locate the label, set of points, locate and label. Okay. Let's look and see what our range is. This one is a different one. So let's see, I don't think it goes with this. It might be different. Negative 14, negative 4, positive 14. Okay, so it looks like we're going from negative 14 to positive 14. So let's see. Oh, we have 10 spaces. I'm going to have to count. Okay, I'm going to use my old one so you don't see the answer. Okay, so if I did, it's 14, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Oh, that could work. Let's see. I think I should go by 2s. So I'm not sure what else I could go by, because I can't go by 3s. That's just kind of weird, and I don't know that it would work out. Let's go by 2s. Let's go by 2s on the x. So x can count by 2s, and y, let's count by 2. Oh, there's a 5/10, so kind of a half. 3 1/2, 2 1/2, 3 1/2, Ooh, let's go by halves. Can we go by halves? Would that get us where we need to be? Let's see. Let's use that old one again. 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. I would get up to 5. 4 is the biggest number. So yeah, let's do that. Let's count by halves. So 0.5. Okay, I think that's what I did here. Yes. Okay, I did, but I numbered differently. So here's my numbering system. I counted by 2's for my x-axis, just like we decided. That there so we can see what we decided. I counted by 2's, but I only marked every other one. Okay, so if this is 4, then this halfway there is 2. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on. I did the same to the negative because I can't change. If it's going this direction one way, it can't change the intervals going this way. Okay, I counted by halves going up and down on the y, but I didn't mark the halves. I marked the wholes. So this is 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. Okay, I just skipped the half points, but obviously if it's 2 there, halfway between 3 and 4 is 3.5. Okay, that's a little bit tricky, but I kind of just have to plan it out so that you can fit everything in there. If I would have counted by 1's here, I wouldn't have made it. I would have only got to 10 and I need to get to 14. If I would have counted by 1's here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 was our largest number. All of my marks, or all of my points, we plotted right in here. That's really squishy. So I spread them out a little bit so that we could see them a little easier and they wouldn't be so all squished together. Okay, let's skip around and do some here. Let's do the first one, negative 14. So I'm going to go over to negative 12, 14, and positive 2. Ooh, that's a lot more marks up, a lot more lines, because it's by halves. Okay, so negative 14, 2. Okay, let's skip and do this one. Because it's got a 0 in the x-axis, that means it's going to lie on the y-axis. So we have 0 over, so we're going to stay right here, and 3.5 to the positive. So we're going to go up to here. Okay, so we have 0, 3.5. Tricky. Okay, let's do some whole number ones real fast. We have negative 8 and negative 4. So I'm going to go down to negative 4. Negative 8, negative 4. All right, kind of get the idea there. I still have one more thing that I would like to show you. I think I will just extend that to the next day. We'll talk about this tomorrow in class, and then tomorrow we'll have a different video for you. I don't want this to take so long, and I think it might take us a little while to make those graphs. So if you have any questions about creating the coordinate grids, how we figured out what to count by, why we decided to do that and not just always go by the same thing, please write any of those in your ISN so we have some good discussion points tomorrow in class.